Love you, Linda. Love you.
The courthouse the other day in the hallway, you're singing "Oh Happy Day."
One word prayer. Justice, where are you?
And welcome. Justice Serve TV is on the air. I'm Michael Bryant. Hi, Linda Kenny Bond.
I am actually ready for Friday, right? Glitz is on.
Is that Is that bulletproof? That blouse you got there?
It has been a really sad week here in New York City with the shooting at the building, and maybe one day we should do something, because everyone will talk about, it's not the guns and all, okay, but this kid who was a star football player, played for the Canadian Football League, went in apparently looking for the NFL this week here, and ended up killing 5 people, including an off-duty police officer whose third child was just about to be born,
and working an extra job, basically,
So it's been such a sad week, and we're sitting here. My office is sitting here in Midtown Manhattan. You've been there, and yesterday seemed to be such a happy day initially. Not yesterday. When did this happen now?
Monday. Yeah, way back.
Monday. You're
yeah.
right. For some reason, my mind is now, it got glitched, because they were filming a really cute movie. They were filming a lot of stars. They were filming The Devil Wears Prada 2, and all the stars were right here, down the street, 1 block down the street, on the 6th Avenue. Filming, and that was really great, and it took away the sting from when just up the street a block, if you all remember, the United Healthcare worker was assassinated at the Hilton about 2 blocks away, and then of course we had this assassination with this young man carrying a long gun in New York, which of course after the Sullivan Law has been undone, the police can't even stop him to say, why are you carrying that here? What's doing it?
Well, they also have to be called. That amazes me. Nobody called.
No one called. Right?
I see a guy walk Park Avenue. For those who aren't familiar, is one of the more pleasant streets to walk down. If you're from out of town, you go on 5th, you go on Broadway. That. And
this was not even Park. This was.
Yeah, but
Madison.
Park is still a more sophisticated. It's a wider street. It has a center median.
Yeah, but this is Madison. This is 1 block up. This is closer to 5th Avenue.
I'm just telling you, that street has fewer bodies on it. If you look at the picture of the shooter, there's not another person in the shot.
No, you're right.
You couldn't do that on 5th. You'd have bazillions of people.
Yeah, but I'm shocked. I think because it was 6:20, 6:15, 6:28 was the first 911 call. And he apparently didn't know which elevator. You know how these elevators are in New York. They only go to specific floors. And he didn't get to the NFL floor. He was looking for the NFL.
Yeah, and the NFL has 3 floors, but they're key carded. So even if he got in the right elevator, he probably could not have operated he didn't have that key card. So by accident, by design.
Right. He ended up we talked about a little bit about this the other day on Tuesday when we had ripped from the headlines, but more has come out since then, that he activated the he ended up rooted management. Has been around like 100 years, runs a lot of buildings. There was no one there. Luckily, it was after closing time, and then he ended up obviously killing himself. But this whole idea of CTE and my client Aaron Hernandez, at 28 years old, had the worst case that they had ever seen for somebody that young. So there are issues with regards to CTE, but this is just I just can't believe that we're surrounded. Happiness one day, killing 2 blocks away another day, killing 2 blocks away another day. I feel like we're in the middle of the war zone now.
Yep, the pluses and minuses of New York City.
And other places, and a place that we're going to talk about, assassination, which is what this is.
Happy. I hate to use that word. Happy Friday. It's Fridelson Friday.
Fridelson Friday, and you know what that means. We're going to be talking about the Adelsons.
Yep, because as the Adelsons turn upon one another, we're getting very close now to the August 19th start of Donna Adelson's trial. Donna Adelson, the mother of Charlie Adelson, already convicted in the conspiracy to kill and the murder of Dan Markell, the FSU professor out of there in the Tallahassee area. And we've heard from the former boyfriend of Wendy Markell, We have also heard from Catherine Mag-Benoit, and we've heard from. I've heard from Charlie. Yeah, we did Charlie already, right? Heard from Charlie. And so now, as we get closer to the start of Donna's, and what I think is the crescendo, Wendy Adelson, we'll get to her. But thought it'd be a good idea if we heard from another of the key players. Sigfredo Garcia was the trigger man. He never testified in any of the trials. Remember, there have been a lot of trials. The first one was his with Catherine Mag-Benoit. She gets a hung jury. He is convicted.
Right.
Second trial against her, she is convicted. Third trial, Charlie Adelson, he is convicted. Fourth trial coming up. In none of those prior trials did Sigfredo Garcia testify. But he did talk to the FBI. So I want to play a little clip of that, just a snip of that FBI interview is really what it was at the time. And then we'll get into Luis Rivera, who turned. He turned on everybody and got a deal. And he was kind of the wheelman.
Getaway driver.
Out, you know, he was not the trigger man, but he was there that night. And so he is the one that rolled over on basically on everybody. So,
and interesting that they went for the small, if everyone remembers, because it's 11 years ago now that Dan Markell was killed. They went for the small fruit first, right? Rolled over and then working their way up to get that fruit at the top of the tree.
Yep. And so this is just a little clip, and I want to thank, I'm borrowing this from Deep Dive True Crime, and I think they borrowed it from Mentor Lawyer, as I'm crediting everybody I see connected to it. I could not find it clean. I always like to get stuff clean.
And they're borrowing it from the FBI.
And yeah, and well, they did their own little, they did some stuff. And so I want to make sure I credit them since they did some stuff. But let's listen to it, just a little bit of this.
Okay. That's what I need. Well, there's some information about some things that happened up north, and and your name was thrown out there. Some information just came to light recently that you and Mr. Rivera might have been had something to do with it up north. Do you know Dan Markell? Do you know who Dan Markell is? Doesn't sound like anybody. Doesn't sound like anybody now. Okay. So you've never been to North Florida either. As far as taking trips up north or anything, have you None whatsoever. None whatsoever. Never been up that way. Okay. Who do you live with right now? You live with somebody? I live with my wife. You are married. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. What's her name? Why? That's I'm not gonna really. You man, and your name came up in an investigation, obviously, and that's why we're trying to get your side of the story to find out if there's any validity to it, if there's any reason about it. Your wife works obviously somewhere and makes money herself. So, what kind of car does she drive? I'm trying to get you to talk to me about some stuff, and I can't tell you what our investigation is totally about, right? I can't just go into it. It's like a one-sided kind of. I know it is. Not really fair. I mean, okay, your name came out like I told you. Gotcha. Yeah, now you look like you're doing well for yourself. Yeah, for sure. I know right now it's kind of that I get badged with FBI. It's like, wow, this is not something I'm accustomed to. So obviously I'm on defense, and I don't think I should say anything more.
Okay, so as you can tell, I love how they put the graphics on here, and they called him Hitman.
I love that.
Just the Hitman. Don't worry about that.
This is not a trial transcript, because if you had that in a trial,
that's right. Jury, pay no attention to the label of Hitman. So you could tell I've never been up north in Florida, Tallahassee, obviously in the Panhandle. I don't know Dan Markell. Then he was interviewed by the FBI at his place of work, right? So this guy had moved on, with his life. He was married, he had kids, he has a job, and they find this guy. The FBI's position is, oh man, your name came up, just routine. We've got to follow up on it, but they know everything. What kind of
car does your wife drive? Right?
Yeah. Well, and then he starts to think, well, okay, what's the deal here? So anyway, jump to the end of the story. Convicted. And never testified in his own behalf or anybody else's trial. He was not called. So, and I don't expect he'll be called in the Donna Adelson.
I thought that he rolled over a bit.
I'd have to re-listen to the whole interview. I think at a certain point he might have felt like, well, maybe I can help myself.
But there was no deal. I mean,
But there was no deal.
There was no deal. Yeah. So
no.
When I say rollover, I don't mean in the sense that he was given an offer and then he testified against everyone. I think that he started to weaken just a little. That they got enough information out of him, I think, on the interview that they felt that it was enough of a rollover. They could then go forward, convict him, and then,
Yeah,
Go-
and
go
they
this
were
way.
operating on what they had been told by Luis
Right.
Rivera.
Right.
So he's the star witness because he is the guy that made the deal. So that's who we've got to focus on here. I think that this is primarily the cross-examination, which we of course note is more likely to get us to the truth. It's always weird when you have a guy that's trying to save his own ass, and now he's testifying to not just help himself, but supposedly convince the jury.
That's a real rollover. Okay. So,
Yes, that's a
so when
rollover.
you're talking about, that's a deal that was made with Luis Rivera that he would then testify against each other. But I think they got enough out of him that when they were questioning, the FBI was questioning, Sigfredo, who did not testify, that they felt that they had enough of a rollover there that they could go forward and convict him easily, especially with Luis, right?
Yeah. So here's how that began, and we'll dive in as necessary. We listen to some of this.
Now, with the cross-examination of Mr. Rivera, so we're going to bring Mr. Rivera into the courtroom at this time.
Mr. Rivera, yes, he comes in. I think he's in togs, as I recall.
Good morning, Mr. Rivera. Before you have a seat.
Yeah, he's all shackled up.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Please raise your right hand.
Because he's in prison.
Yeah, and sometimes, with a jury trial, they will at least take the cuffs off or put some less obvious restraint, a stun cuff, something.
Right.
Mr. Ticos?
But usually they do that with a defendant more than the
True.
defendant has a right to not have that bias. But
It's
here,
still the witness.
this is bias right here. I
Yes.
am here. Let me testify.
Yeah.
You yourself.
Raise your hand.
Right?
He's got to raise both.
And it's been that way since you were arrested in 2016 on this case, right?
Yes, sir.
So what that means is you're not going through the daily activities that a person on the outside goes through, right?
Yes, sir.
You don't have to remember to turn off the stove, pick up the kids, stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to remember to file your taxes, to go to the doctors, go to the dentist, stuff like that, right?
Yes, sir.
It's been a matter of being in your cell with your thoughts, with your agreement with this office, right?
Yes, sir.
Your sole job since 2016 has to be to remember your testimony in this case.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about guns. The June trip, there was 2 guns, right?
Yes, sir.
Both 38 caliber,
Yes, sir.
38 Smith & Wesson short nose,
Yes, sir.
and a blue steel long nose Taurus.
Yes, sir.
Garcia had the blue steel,
Yes, sir.
you had the short nose.
Yes, sir.
You agree you bought that short nose.
Yes, I did, sir.
You bought it to come up here.
Yes, sir.
And you bought it from a quote, neighborhood from a black boy.
Yes, sir.
That's what you told law enforcement about where you acquired this gun.
Yes, I did.
And again, to make sure it's clear, you acquired this gun after a conversation with Garcia
Yes, sir.
while he was renting the car to come here.
Yes.
And you don't know the name or even really a description of the guy that you got the gun from.
No, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the Latin Kings transfer and distribute guns.
Yes, sir.
On direct examination, Ms. Kappelman asked you how many guns were brought for the murder trip, right?
Yes, sir.
And your answer was 2.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you again. How many guns were brought for the second trip, your second trip, the murder trip?
Can't remember.
Yeah, just to set the time frame here. Remember, the shooting was on July 18th. They made a practice run in June.
Would it help your memory to listen to your statement from October 4th of 2016?
Yes, sir.
If you could put on those headphones for me, please. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to move past that because we can't hear a damn thing.
All right. So now we have it, not what you told the government when they asked you the question about 2 guns, now it's 1 gun.
Yes, sir. I mean, we all make mistakes. It's been 8 years. Memories, you forget stuff. 8 years, who's gonna remember?
And again, the only thing that you've had to remember over the past 8 years is your testimony.
Yeah, I don't sit down in my cell and think about this right here.
Interesting. Hear how he did that? He, you know, the defense attorney, again, this is cross-examination, and his
Right.
goal is to make this stoolie look like he's just saying whatever he needs to say, right?
Right.
But he lays this foundation that you just had nothing to do but think about your story in your cell every day, all day. And Rivera, as he's recounting what happened, said, "I'm just sitting in my cell, you know, thinking about this story." Very programmed. This is so tough. I mean, as a defense attorney, good luck. I mean, making this guy out to be such a liar that he would finger your client, Sigfredo Garcia. Because what's the alternative? That he did it? I mean, that's where you got to go, right?
That's where you got to, that's the only place you have to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what, interesting that you say that, because when you just heard Sigfredo Garcia with the FBI interview, right, when they put hitman right on the bottom,
Yes.
thank you for doing that. I know you're not supposed to judge looks, but he looks mean and tough, whereas this guy looks more like that he could be the getaway driver.
Yeah, that's a good observation. Yeah, just on its face. Yeah, just the other guy does have, and maybe it's just genetics and their personalities are similar or opposite. But you're right. He has a harder kind of, I will kill you look to him. This guy, I'll help you.
Yes, sir.
You bought those at a gun store
Yes, sir.
on Biscayne
Yes, I did.
in between 112th and 117th.
Yes, sir.
The guns that we spoke about, there's the blue steel long nose and the short nose, the one that you bought.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the short nose that you bought, that gun was the one that was dumped.
Yes, sir.
And it was dumped, you say, near a bridge
Yes, sir.
by Garcia
Yes, sir.
on the ride home.
Yes, sir.
You claim that you wanted to help them find the murder weapon, right?
Yes, sir.
But in actuality, you never wanted them to find it.
No, I don't know what bridge. There's so many bridges we passed through. I'm not gonna.
Correct me if I'm wrong, law enforcement knows the very precise route you took. So it's not a matter of checking all bridges in the state of Florida,
I'm
correct?
not gonna remember the bridge, sir.
That's not my question. Law enforcement knows the precise route that you took home, right?
I guess so.
And they drove you on that precise route.
Yes, sir.
And you never pointed out the alleged bridge that the gun
I
was.
passed through so many bridges, sir. I'm not gonna remember. Just like I told them, I don't remember the bridge.
I'm showing you what's been entered in defense 6.
Yeah, if anybody's driven in anywhere in Florida, it's bridge, overpass, swamp. I mean,
Helping them find the
There's a
murder
lot.
weapon in this case, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
drew this.
Yes, sir.
horrible visual aids in this courtroom. Brutal.
Now, let's talk about the amount of times that you went out looking with them. You haven't been out with them since 2016, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in fact, you only went out a couple of times, a couple of days, a couple of hours to look for this gun, right?
I don't remember a couple of times, but I don't remember.
Was it less than that?
Maybe one time.
One time you get into a van, they drive around, look at a couple of bridges, and then give up.
I mean, I can't remember.
Isn't it true that you did what you said you were going to do, which is to put it away and bury that shit somewhere? No one is going to find it but me.
Yes, sir.
You said that, right?
Yes, I did.
And that's what you did with this gun.
No, sir.
The gun was never found, right?
I never dished it nowhere. I never threw it nowhere. That wasn't my job.
You bought the gun.
I bought the gun.
You handled the gun.
Handle it? Like what type of you talking about?
Well, you remember how you told us that time that the guy walked in the hotel room and you picked up both guns and you pointed it at them?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you touched that gun.
Yes, I did.
And you gave vague information where it was acquired from, and you gave very little information as to where it was disposed of. You did that to protect yourself on both ends, didn't you?
Not at all, sir.
Now, you are aware that if law enforcement were to get that gun, you could be federally prosecuted. You know that.
No, sir.
Do you not know that? Do you not remember?
Me being prosecuted for if they found a gun?
Do you not remember knowing that if they had that gun, they could tie it to interstate commerce? Do you not remember knowing that?
I don't remember.
Your Honor, if I could have one brief moment.
Okay.
Second deposition, page 279. Lines 1 through 9.
He's at least trying to make, little inroads about, okay, you're saying Garcia threw the gun away, but it was really you, and you're denying it now because if that gun is tied to you, there are some other crimes that we could come after
Talk
you.
about,
for.
right.
What Mr. Rivera understands first. You're going to refresh his recollection? Let's see what Mr. Rivera understands first.
She's going to do that as well, yeah,
Okay. You may.
to save the trips back and forth.
All right. Mr. Rivera, this young lady's just going to give you some assistance with reviewing this transcript. If you feel comfortable reviewing it yourself and understanding it, then you can review it and understand it, and you just let me know. But if for some reason...
We'll move up past his reading assignment.
Thank you.
Mr. Rivera, has your memory been refreshed?
Yes, sir.
And we were talking about why you would hide the origin and the disposal of the gun. And I had asked you about you being federally prosecuted. You were aware, and you know that if they have that gun, they could tie it to interstate commerce and federally prosecute you on this case.
Yes, and it says that I'm not sure, but yes.
Yes, that you are aware of that. Not sure if they could, but you're aware that it's a possibility.
Yes, not sure if they could, but yes, I'm aware of it.
And that's something that would be a concern because you can't fight the feds.
Yes, sir.
Now that gun, it would be evidence against you, right?
Yes, sir.
That you're the shooter.
I'm not the shooter.
It's interesting that you say that.
He's not getting very far with it.
Well, like I said, it is a tough slog.
Rivera, your testimony is you drove up the driveway behind that car. That Garcia got out, went inside, and shot Professor Markell, right?
Yes, sir.
But you knew that Professor Markell's window was up, right?
Yes, I can see it.
You also knew that he was on the phone when he got shot, right?
I pulled up right behind him. I can see him.
And you also knew, you happened to have the detail that he raised his arm when he was shot in the face.
I can see that too.
Those are odd details for Sigfredo Garcia to shoot him, to jump back in the car and say, drive. Hey, and by the way, he was on his phone, the window was up, and he raised his arm.
I can see everything, sir. I'm pulled up right behind him.
Let's stay in the driveway and return to the issue from there.
So you got to remember and picture that you have Dan Markell has pulled into his garage, and right on the driveway behind him is the vehicle of these two gentlemen. So he's just looking, he's just watching. It happens right in front of him. Defense attorney suggesting, oh, come on, the only way you would have known those things is if you were the shooter, right?
Right. Of course, he doesn't ask you can stop and say, he doesn't ask the seminal questions. Were these like tinted windows in the back that you can't see through? Because, in most cars you're sitting there, we all have our, we judge people and judge things. We're sitting at a stoplight behind a car. We see into the car. We see what people are doing. And so if the hand goes up, you can see that.
Sure. And, maybe the defense attorney knows that the windows were not exceptionally tinted, so he doesn't want to go there. But it is Florida, and they have very liberal window tinting rules there. So maybe he just didn't think of it, or he knew the answer and it didn't help it.
Right.
Walked down that driveway and into the house the day before the murder. And I'm going to give this to you for context so you know where I'm going. You remember how I had asked you questions about your exchange with Garcia, how he said she's here to make sure it's getting done, how then he made a phone call to Catherine McBanwa, and he made that before noon on Thursday. Now, I asked you that question, you didn't remember. Do you remember now? Was that phone call before noon on Thursday?
I don't remember the time.
Would it help your memory if you were to listen to yourself from your recording on 10/4?
Maybe.
Okay. Yet another
Another refreshing of the
refreshing,
recollection.
this time by audio.
That you said that this phone call happened.
I said maybe by noon.
All right, you said before 12 noon on Thursday, correct?
Yes, sir.
Those are your words.
Yes, sir.
So just to make sure that we have the context correct, so it's from yesterday, you have this alleged sighting, this alleged conversation with Garcia, and before you get back to the hotel, before 12 noon, he's on the phone with Katie, finding out what's going on.
Yes, sir.
You made all that up, didn't you?
No, sir.
Now, you were banking on the fact that Garcia, having children with Katie, is always on the phone with her, right?
Yes, sir.
In evidence, we have Catherine McBanwell's cell phone records. And would you be surprised to learn that there is no phone call between Sigfredo Garcia and Catherine McBanwell before 12 noon that day?
Will you be surprised if I tell you they had throwaway phones?
So your testimony now is that Catherine McBanwell had a throwaway phone?
Can we stop that right there?
Mhm.
I kind of love that because he kind of
Where he
like
gives
went
that back to him.
He gave him right back to him. Would you be surprised if people have throwaway phones and people she has throwaway phones?
And we're the Latin kings. You don't think we have only legit registered
we go
trackable
buy
phones? Come
we
on.
go buy $2,000 iPhones so that we can throw them away. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a point that defense has to make, but he snuffed it out pretty quickly.
Mr. Rivera, on October 4th, 2016, you gave the recorded statement, right?
Don't remember.
On November 29th, 2016, you appeared before a grand jury in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
On March 22nd, 2019, you appeared for a deposition in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
January 31st, 2018, the year before, a different deposition in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've sat in that chair before back in 2019 on October 1st and October 2nd, correct?
Yes, I did, sir.
And you have never made that claim before that there was a disposable phone.
Believe I have.
Isn't this you just evolving your story to keep up for the mistakes?
No, sir.
Let's talk about cars. Let's focus now on the June trip. Aren't your words the first time we came up, I never drove the car at all?
I never drove the first car.
I'm showing you what's entered in is State Exhibit 65. First trip was in June, correct?
Yes, sir.
You get a citation for driving that car, right?
Yes, sir.
And in fact, you were alone in that car because you were alone on the first trip.
No, sir. Not at all.
So you get a citation, but you weren't driving the car.
That was for Sigfredo.
So Sigfredo was driving, but you get the ticket?
He was with me. I think we had changed. I think we had stopped somewhere, if I remember. I think we had stopped and we just for that moment, I drove for a little bit.
Isn't this your testimony evolving again? You make a mistake,
It's
you
the
change
same
it.
answer I gave since day one, man. You're not going to sit here and try to confuse me back and forth.
Mr. Rivera,
Oh,
didn't
wow.
you just say
Wow.
2 minutes ago
Wow.
to this jury, you never drove the first trip?
I can't really remember, but now that you say, yeah, I mean, when I got the ticket, if that was the first car, I guess.
You remember everything she asked you, but not what I present you with, right?
I tell her the same thing I tell you. If I don't remember, I don't remember. If I say yes, yes. Say no, it's no.
You make no mistakes about the alleged claims against Ms. McBanwell, but when presented with evidence showing that you're wrong on details, then, I don't remember.
I'm not wrong. Not at all, sir. Everything I say is nothing but the truth.
Let's keep going.
That's right.
I can picture that part of the ride again, assuming all these things happened as we're hearing. You've got Garcia driving. He needs a little break. Rivera takes over and immediately gets a ticket. And Garcia's all over the guy. Probably doesn't let him drive anymore. And to these guys, do you think a ticket is a very memorable moment in their lives? I would say
No,
probably
but
not.
no, but it's great because how many cases have we seen? Koberger is one of them. Back in the day of Son of Sam, another one, where somebody getting a ticket leads to finding out who these people are or confirming that they're in the area or confirming that they have some involvement in a crime.
Yeah, no doubt. And to the defense credit, it does put a little bit of a chink in his story. You know, you said you weren't driving. Well, how'd you get a ticket? Then he has to say, well, I guess I was driving for a little bit. So yeah, it's something.
Right.
You know.
You have the June trip. You have the murder trip. Mr. Rivera, how many trips were made for the purpose of this killing? Actually, let's wait on that for a second. We'll come back in a minute. On direct examination, you testified that the purpose of the June trip, this one, where you got the citation being a passenger, that the purpose of the first trip was to scout it out. That was your testimony yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
Brief moment, Your Honor. Mr. Rivera, you appeared before a grand jury back in 2016, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it was for the purpose of, this is after you get your deal, it was for the purpose of indicting Miss McVanwell, right?
Yes, sir.
I wasn't there, right?
We're in the courtroom?
No defense attorneys were there, correct?
Yes, sir.
None of us were there, right?
Yes.
But you were
Yes.
asking you questions.
Yes, sir.
There's a court reporter taking down your words, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you swore to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Capman asked you the question. Okay, and what was the purpose of the first trip to Tallahassee? Answer. The purpose of the first trip was to do the murder the first trip. Question, to do the murder? Answer, yeah, but I didn't want to do that.
We were supposed to scope out the place, and if it would have got done, it would have got done that day, but it never happened.
Your testimony years back was the purpose of the June trip, when you were alone, was to do the murder. That was your testimony, right? To do the murder.
Yes.
But when she asked you yesterday, it's a different answer.
It's been years, man. Can't remember.
When you're in your cell,
I don't think about this. Tell that one more time. I don't sit in my cell and think about this. So don't ask me that question again. You're repeating yourself over and over.
Mr. Rivera, let's talk about trips. There was the June trip and then the murder trip. Right?
Michael, can we stop it right there again?
Sure. And he's talking about she, by the way, is just the prosecutor, Ms. Kappelman. Yeah.
Who, by the way, really has a handle on this case, you know.
She's
but
lived it. Yeah.
When you're listening to him, the defense attorney, and he keeps repeating to do the murder, to do the murder, to do the murder. So what? You didn't do the murder if the first trip was just it was scouting. Even if it was supposed to be to do the murder. The point is that they were doing the murder, and by reiterating murder, 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 I'm not sure. You know, if we want to grade this as a prize fight, the person landing the punches is Rivera here. Who's
he's definitely got some counter moves. You know, he's bobbing and weaving, and you know, again, I understand the defense position. It's brutal. He's trying to make it sound like you're changing everything about every story you've ever told. So why do we believe anything you say? Why should this jury believe anything you say? This first trip you say was to do the murder. Now you're saying it was just to scope things out. But you're right. It just reinforces, by the way, this guy was involved in a murder.
Right.
So, you know.
And he's in jail. And he's in handcuffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's got cuffs on his legs. And he's wearing a jail suit.
Yeah. He's a bad guy. He's a bad dude. And so, you know, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that a jury member, one or two, would say, I don't know. I don't know who pulled the trigger. You know, these are both bad people.
But they were both there to do the murder. Who cares who pulled the trigger?
Well, because the one on trial, you say under the felony murder rule that Sigfredo Garcia would go down anyway. And I'm assuming they had felony murder as an alternative. Do you recall? I can't recall offhand.
I don't remember, right?
I would assume they would. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not going to totally cleanse himself from everything, but it's a much cleaner case for the prosecution if Sigfredo Garcia pulled the trigger. And so that's what the defense is trying to muddy here. And he's not getting help from Mr. Rivera.
Question. How many trips were there to Tallahassee for the purpose of killing Professor Markell?
2 trips. I believe it was 2 trips that I said.
2 trips?
Yes, sir.
Second deposition, page 103, line 16 through 24.
Judge, I'm going to object on this one, improper impeachment.
Do we need to be more specific on the record?
I think so, Judge.
All right, let's go sidebar.
Yeah, she doesn't have a lot to object to here because, you know, let this guy tell his story. And I believe his deal will require him to do it one more time. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I would imagine his deal is conditioned on all trials.
Right.
Wouldn't you think?
Yes, no matter when the prosecution wants you.
Tell the truth, nothing but the truth, right?
Yes, sir.
You have a cooperation agreement where you have to give truthful testimony, complete testimony, right?
Yes, sir.
And the court reporter took down all of your words.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember me asking you, like Sigfredo, you were coked up and drinking the whole trip? You, the whole trip and back out every day. Me, this is the first trip in June, the witness. The first trip in June, the second trip, the third trip. Every time we went up there, we was always coked up and drinking. Me, there was a third trip. You, we're gonna get to that. There was only 2 trips. You slipped up, didn't you?
No, sir.
See, your discovery, the reports that you got from their office only talked about 2 trips, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's why your testimony was, there was only 2 trips.
There's only been 2 trips.
But when you were asked questions on a different topic, you couldn't keep your story straight. And you said, we, not they, we. The first trip in June, the second trip, the third trip, every time we went up there, we was always coked up and drinking. Those are your words, right?
Yes.
I wasn't tricking you, right? We asked you a straightforward question about drugs and alcohol, and you said third trip,
3 trips.
which is inconsistent with the information that you had received in your discovery before you cooperated.
2 trips.
Now, Mr. Rivera, in all your other prior times, October 4th, January 31st, November of 2019, November of 2016, October 1st and 2nd, 2019, no mention ever of a third trip.
I don't remember that 3rd trip.
You would agree with me if you were to change your testimony to slip up,
No, sir.
and it were to be found that there were a third trip, that you would be in violation of your cooperation agreement with that office.
No, sir.
You don't agree with me that if they were to find out there were a third trip, that you would be in violation of the agreement where you must give the truth and the complete truth.
I only came up twice.
That's not my question. You would agree with me that if you left out a vital fact, a vital trip, that you would be in violation of your agreement.
Yes.
Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
You've previously sat in that same seat and tried to repair that mistake, haven't you?
No, sir.
You haven't sat up there before and said, you know what? It was Sigfredo Garcia and King Anthony that made a trip. You've never said that before?
Yes, sir. Now you're trying to remember my memory's coming back. Yeah. That was
Okay,
that third trip you're talking about, that he came up with somebody else, not me.
so there is a third trip.
I remember, now that you say it, yeah, I remember saying that, but you saying that I came up here 3 times, I only came out twice. That third trip was somebody else. You need to say the whole story. You just saying half of the thing. I said 3, I only came up 3 times. Come on, dog.
I wasn't there. I don't know the truth. I
But
just
if
know-
it's in that paper, read it out right.
okay.
Oh my God, read it out right.
You understand what we means, right?
Yeah.
Not they, we.
Yeah.
Okay. But you then tried to correct that because again, you'd be in violation of that agreement. It was no, Sigfredo Garcia and King Anthony. But that's what we're focusing on right now. That you previously said that there was a third trip, Sigfredo Garcia and King Anthony, right?
Yes, sir.
And you know that because apparently Sigfredo Garcia told you that there was this third trip.
Yes, sir.
You see the stack of paperwork in front of me, right?
I see all that.
You've given sworn testimony 10 times before.
Yes, sir.
The closest that you've gotten to ever mentioning that third trip was the we statement and then in October of 2019. In your recorded interview, October of 2016, you never mentioned a third trip, right?
I think I did.
Your Honor, Mr. Rivera, your October 4, 2016 statement was roughly 3 hours, correct?
I don't remember.
So that third trip is kind of an interesting little nugget, you know.
Yeah.
Was Secreto trying out somebody else? Did that person not work out, and Rivera was the backup guy, or was Rivera flaky and Garcia thought he might need a backup guy? Interesting.
So it should be in your statement, right?
It should be.
It definitely wasn't in your discovery, right?
I don't know. I can't read, so I never read that discovery.
Yeah, but you had 2 attorneys and they reviewed it with you.
I mean, it's been a long time, sir.
So in the years, let's sidetrack for a moment. In the years, you've had tons of meetings, since your cooperation, tons of meetings with their office, correct?
Yes.
You've sat down for hours on end with investigator Jason Newland, their investigator, not Tallahassee Police Department, with Jason Newland reviewing your testimony.
Don't remember you reviewing no testimony, but I don't remember that.
So all the times that there are orders to transport you from jail to their office wasn't for the purpose of reviewing your testimony?
I mean, yeah, we reviewed, but you talking about my discovery and testimony and all that?
No, what I'm talking about is specifically your testimony and specifically whether you ever told Jason Newland about a third trip.
I don't remember.
Okay. So you don't remember whether you told Jason Newland, Agent Patrick Sanford, or investigator Craig Isom about a third trip?
I remember telling them.
So you told them about this third trip?
Yeah, I don't think Jason was there.
Okay, so you told Agent Sanford, investigator Isom about this third trip between Sigfredo Garcia and one of your Latin King brothers.
Yes, sir.
All right. You would agree with me that if you never mentioned that you would be in violation of your cooperation agreement.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. Long way to go. I'm not sure he
Let's
got
talk
much
about
out of that.
Your communication with the outside world when you're in federal custody. Okay. When you were in Coleman, if you could explain to the jury what Coleman is.
Coleman is a federal, as a Coleman 1, it's an active yard. It's a real violent yard. They don't play over there.
So back in 2016, before you're charged in this case, you're in Coleman, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you agree with me that you're able to get access to both legitimate and illegitimate phones while in Coleman, right?
Yeah.
That you were able to have a three-way call with Sigfredo Garcia through one of your brothers.
I ain't never called him on the phone.
I'm sorry?
I never spoke to him on the phone or did a three-way. It was like a text.
Now,
Like a text service.
now that, and some of that happened through a guy named Leanback, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, Leanback is a king,
Yes.
and you would send emails through the system that you have in federal custody to Leanback, and then he would send out texts on your behalf.
Probably sound like one email, probably.
All right. Now, in May of 2016, starting in May of 2016, you're able to communicate via this messaging system with Sigfredo Garcia, correct?
Yes.
Now, during that time, you're also communicating with Jessica Rodriguez, the mother of your children, correct?
Of course.
And you're doing that through email.
Yes, sir.
And her email, correct me if I'm wrong, is siannagron1020@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
That's SIANNANEGRON 1020@gmail.com.
I'm sure she had to change it after this
Yeah,
trial.
And on
I
May
would
10,
think so.
2016, right around the time of the wiretaps, you email her asking for Garcia's cell phone number.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree or do you deny that then in May 2016, Sigfredo Garcia is receiving text messages from somebody saying this is Tato?
Yes, sir.
And that's you, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's you sending those messages.
Yes.
Let's stay on the topic of Garcia. Where Garcia lived. He was living on 186th and Biscayne, correct?
Yes.
There's a period of time that he was living with King Anthony, right? If you remember.
Probably. I think so.
Around the time of 2014.
Yeah.
Now let's stay on the topic of Sigfredo Garcia. We'll talk about Catherine. He loved her, right? Still loves her.
He sure did.
Crazy about her.
Yes.
Would do anything for her.
Of course.
Now, you have known Sigfredo Garcia your entire life, right?
Yes, sir.
You refer to him as brother.
Yes, sir.
Now, this isn't just something that you guys hang out on the weekends. You very much are together in the same community hanging out.
Yes, sir.
You know everything about each other.
Yes, sir.
You know his reputation in the community.
Yes, sir.
You know that his reaction if somebody were sleeping with Katie, he'd confront them, right?
Of course.
Try to run him over.
Yes, sir.
You agree with me that it is in Sigfredo's character that he would find somebody that's sleeping with Katie, right?
Yes, sir.
And hurt them.
Yes, sir.
Meaning, meet them face to face.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk now about the dentist and Catherine. You agree with me that Garcia knew about the relationship.
Yes, sir.
He knew about the relationship with the dentist.
Yes, sir.
He told you that he knew about it.
Yes, sir.
And he also told you he was her boss. The dentist was her boss.
Yes, sir.
And he knew the guy's name.
Yes.
You'd agree with me that Sigfredo Garcia was angry, right?
Yes, sir.
By the way,
And
Michael,
jealous.
just stop it right there.
Sir.
Mm-hmm.
The dentist was her boss.
Yeah.
Boss for all of those people
Other people
that
were-
want to argue about whether or not she was in his office doing things.
Something for a check.
Something
Doing
for
something.
a check or a non-check. The dentist was her boss. Okay. We won't rant. We won't put my fingers out here. But that's why I tell people there's a lot of trials and a lot of testimony and a lot of different statements that are made. So while you think you may know everything about this case and everything that was said, it may not be that what your thoughts are is the actual truth, or maybe it is the truth, but there are statements in courts that are contradictory. So there. Okay, I'm done.
So harumph. Yeah, so to be honest, we don't know what the hell was going on. We know she was getting paid for something through the Adelson Institute. And as I've said before, sounds more like a mental hospital than a dental practice. But that's what it was called, the Adelson Institute.
Yeah,
so,
and
yeah,
the dentist,
her
that's Charlie,
boss.
was her boss.
Right. And Sigfredo not happy that she was working with the boss.
Now, because of this, because the love of his life was with somebody else, let's back up for a second. Sigfredo Garcia does well with women, correct?
Yes, sir.
Very much a lady.
Yes, sir.
They pick up a little more speed here.
Financially secure. Right?
Yes, sir.
So because of this, Sigfredo, for the first time, in actual jeopardy of losing Catherine, he was going through a lot, right?
Yes, sir.
He was desperate.
Yes.
He was drinking.
Every day.
He was doing coke, like every day, right?
Every day.
And he was doing it more than usual.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't usual for him to do it every day, but he was off. He was not himself.
Yes, sir.
He was fighting a lot.
Every day.
And this is around the time of 2014 when they're broken up. So between the end of 2013, half of 2014, he's losing it, right?
Yes, sir.
He's violent and erratic.
Yes, sir.
And he actually went so far as to stalking the dentist, right?
Yes, sir.
And you remember a specific time where in that truck, right?
Yes, sir.
That black Dodge truck that you guys went to a restaurant, right?
Yes, sir.
And what you saw was Catherine Benoit sitting outside with the guy that she was dating, and he was flipping out.
Yes, sir.
He was furious, right?
Yes.
He actually wanted to take that truck and run over the dinner party that they were with, right?
Yes.
He was so angry, you had to stop him.
Yes, sir.
Now let's make sure that we have the context. Before the murder, they're broken up, right?
Yes, sir.
And then right after the murder, they're back together, right?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rivera, Garcia played you, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes.
He confronted Charles.
What you mean confronting Charles?
Like you said was in his nature, that this guy would confront the guy that was in between him and the woman that he loved.
Yeah.
That was his nature to do that, right?
Yes, sir.
Like you said was in his nature.
Yes, sir.
Like he told you he would do.
Yes.
And that confrontation turned into a negotiation between him and Charles Adelson. Right?
You think they spoke?
You've told us that this guy would absolutely confront that other guy, right?
Of course.
And it would be very awkward. What I'm saying is that Sigfredo Garcia came to you with a job, but he never told you it was for. He couldn't tell you, hey, that guy that I just wanted to run over, we're going to do a job for him. Because you as a Latin King boss, you would say, that doesn't make any sense. The government told you Katie was involved, right?
No, sir. No, sir.
You went along with it
No, sir.
because you can't fight the feds.
No, sir.
So you took it and ran.
No, sir. He's been involved the whole time. It's the only
Nothing.
one he speaks to.
I'm sorry?
It's the only girl he speaks to is Katie. Whatever she tells him to do, he jumps and do it. That's his weakness. Her right there.
All right, redirect.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just a minute of this.
Okay. That didn't go very well for the defense.
No, but what are you going to do? It's horrible. And when she's done with just a couple of questions, we'll talk about, in the context of Donna Adelson, what would we expect from this guy? Nothing we've heard does anything to connect Donna Adelson, right?
Right.
Okay, Ms. Kappelman, let's go.
Mr. Rivera, you were asked if you agreed to the government's facts. Do you remember being asked that?
What's facts?
Did you agree to the government's facts? I think the question is, did you read or have read to you the reports in this case and then just regurgitate whatever was in the reports? Is that what you did?
No, ma'am.
All right, when you cut a deal, what was your understanding of what you had to do to get the
Cooperate.
benefit of the deal?
Cooperate.
And does cooperate mean regurgitate every single thing that's in the police reports?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, what's in the police reports includes Charlie Adelson being involved in this case. You don't know anything about that, do you?
No, ma'am.
So you're not able to regurgitate that fact, are you?
No, ma'am.
Would you agree that it would be helpful to the state? You know we're prosecuting Charlie Adelson, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It would be helpful if you could say Charlie Adelson did it.
Yes, ma'am.
But you can't do that, can you?
No, ma'am.
Because you don't know that fact, do you?
No, ma'am.
Only person that knows that fact is Catherine McVanoff, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's who she was dating.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you did correct us on some things we had wrong, didn't you? And for example, the money drop. You got the money the next morning, not the night of, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that wasn't in the police reports, was it?
No, ma'am.
We didn't know about that until you told us, did we?
Yes, ma'am.
We didn't know y'all shot a hole in the Prius, did we, until you told us?
Yes, ma'am.
That wasn't in the police reports, was it?
No, ma'am.
Objection, Your Honor.
All right, let's be careful of the leading questions, please.
We just had about 100 of them.
Agreed
I
to-
know.
Did we basically get it right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the facts that you agreed to, are those the facts that you personally have knowledge of?
Yes, ma'am.
Where does Shrimp live?
Miami Beach. I don't know the address, but
Okay, I don't want to get into shrimp here. It's a whole different thing. So, as you look at this, the big question I have is, do they need this guy? Is he going to be able to provide any information at all as it relates to Donna Adelson?
Doesn't sound like it because
No, it doesn't.
He just that little bit we had about that he knows nothing about Charlie Adelson. That's it. I mean, he's involved. He's like down here with the killing.
Yeah, he's in the trenches with the shooter.
And usually you don't let the big people don't get involved with the little people, right? You can go up the ladder, which is what they're doing, but
Right.
usually, you're not being paid off by, let's say, Donna Adelson handing you a bag of money.
Yes, stapled together.
Stapled together.
Yeah,
right?
I gotta get my one of our next Friedelsons, or I gotta get my stacks of hundreds that are stapled together, because that's what everybody does. For those who don't remember, that's apparently how Charlie Adelson stored money in his home or office safe. Stapled 10 hundreds together, $1,000 packets, 138,000 packets, 138 packets, total $138,000 was given to Catherine McVanoff, in theory, to pay off this gentleman and
Big stapler.
Trigger Man. I don't know, it's only 10 pieces of paper. It's only 10.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Bills are a little heavier than normal paper, but not much. I'm going to do it. I'll have that. I'll bring that in.
How much money are you going to bring in? $38,000?
I'm not bringing, no, maybe a couple of packets. That's it. Just a couple. That's it. And I'll probably have 100 on top, and the rest will be ones.
That's what they do. Like when you see the World Series of Poker and they win $10 million,
Right.
and everyone comes in with these bags pretending that they're
yeah.
security. All they have is like the first couple in front, the first couple in back that are like real money. The rest, because of insurance purposes, you can't do it.
Talk about it.
You can't bring in $10 million.
That's a caper film ready to be written.
Right.
Okay, so we'll see. There's a possibility this guy has some nugget of some sort, but based on his testimony that he didn't even know Charlie Adelson, unlikely to see him repeat his performance in the Donna case.
So who do they get? Who are they going to use?
Yeah, well, obviously they're going to have Wendy. I don't know if. I'd have Charlie, and we've seen the witness list. They're on it. They're all on it.
They're all on it. But how do you have Charlie? He can't testify. He's got a Fifth Amendment. He's appealing his
And I
privilege.
know he's currently appealing. So
No, he can't get him.
I don't
The
know what they're
FBI
going to do.
agents, the bump. You're going to have the bump in
They
the
can have the
call.
bump. I wonder if they could. I don't know if they could make a deal. I keep thinking Ghislaine Maxwell. One of these deals after the fact. If there was something Charlie could provide that was enough, but is he just probably going to protect his mom, continuing to deny?
He's never gonna testify against his mom. But the question then becomes: Is Katie? Does she get offered a deal? She knows a little more. But then isn't that hearsay? I mean, very interesting how they're going to try this case. Everybody's on the witness list. We've seen the witness list.
Yeah, that's
Everyone's
typical. I think I'm on there. No, yeah, it's just it's a ton of names, all of them that we've heard before. So who actually shakes out, we'll see. So that's August 19th. That's when jury selection begins. They think it's going to be wrapped up by September 15th. Maybe that's optimistic, maybe not. This case certainly against Donna Adelson is much more fine-tuned, right? But the jury still has to know the story. They can't just hear what this woman allegedly did without the backstory. Right. So, it's going to take a minimum of time, regardless of her focused involvement.
Right. You have to prove the murder. You have to prove how the murder occurred.
Sure.
You may have, maybe you do bring him back just to show what he just said, that Katie was working in the office of Charlie. All right. And then
just to help put the pieces together.
And then we have the bump and the FBI agent. So maybe he does come back for that purpose. Maybe he does testify.
Some of the foundational stuff that doesn't directly relate to her, but it's necessary to tell the jury the story. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what he's not thinking about in his cell every day? His story. And he's not thinking about that. So don't even suggest that he is. Don't say that again. Yikes. Okay. These are mean people.
These are the folks he's a king. He said he's a Latin king.
Yeah, these are the folks that keep me from going to prison. I would not do well in prison. I'd have to be like, Shawshank Redemption. I have to be like Andy Dufresne. He was doing taxes and stuff. I'd have to be helping their legal problems to keep from being assaulted or killed. These are nasty people. He was talking about that one. I think it's one Columbia. It's called. It's somewhere in Florida. It is a maximum. Some say it's the worst federal prison in the country. And as he was saying, they don't play around. They don't play around there.
Right.
I mean, that's that should keep you on the straight and narrow. Just the thought of spending time in one of those facilities. So.
Yeah. And as we know, Donna Adelson's not even doing well in jail. They had to move her from one jail to another. She said she was being blackmailed.
She was assaulted.
She was assaulted. She was being blackmailed. So they did move her. Which is interesting. They did move her from one jail to another. Now the question becomes, they move her from one jail to another. Would she ever give up her daughter if her daughter were involved? Wow. I mean, because we have to say that because we don't know. Well, Wendy Adelson's not been charged with anything. She's got some limited immunity. Immunity. Was it just a parent and family trying to help, another family member? Okay. Well, we're going to see.
As the Adelsons turn on one another.
And we have one more. We'll
have at least one more. I'm trying to think. We're taking the next week is a little light, and we're not doing it next week.
Right.
The following week, we'll probably have two more, and maybe we do a Wendy part 1, part 2. Right. She had quite the experience on the stand. So
she wore the same dress. She wore the same dress one time, 2 times, right?
She always had, makeup was always nice. She had that. There was a look. I don't know what it is. You might know where things are kind of muted and things kind of are blended together, like the eyeshadow and the lip gloss and the base are all very muted. She had that kind of look.
Natural look.
Is that what it is? It's a very soft kind of look, almost like Jen McCabe, kind of like she adopted it for trial number 2. It seemed to me.
I don't know. You should run a poll.
Yeah.
Who do people like less? Who do people like Jen McCabe or Wendy Adelson? Be an interesting poll. Is there anybody else we can put in there?
I think, to me, it's hands down Jen McCabe. I just think she's got a few more strikes against her. Wendy Adelson is quite the enigma, and I can't wait to see what happens.
And you know what? And I'm going to say it again, whether people like it or not. Who are the victims in this? Not only Dan Markell, but the children.
The kids, who are not so young anymore. This was 11 years ago.
Right.
So we'll continue to follow it, ramping up toward the August 19th Donna Adelson jury selection trial start. And, it's kind of a primer to get us to that last trial. Maybe not. We'll have to see.
Before you go here tonight, I just want to tell you, I want to thank you for this week, hitting 25,000 subs. Now we're beyond that already. We'd like you to, before you go, and I should have said it at the beginning, to please hit that, or please smash, as they say, that subscribe button, the like button, the share button, and the notify all button. So let me say it again so you have time to do it. To hit the subscribe button, the like button, the share button, and the notify button. And if you want to become a member, the membership costs $2.99 a month for the lowest level, but the subscribe and the share and the like do not. And that gets us into the algorithms, especially if you hit, when we put this up, or anything, we put anything up on a thumbnail, or that we're going to have to do a show. If you hit that like button earlier, it starts earlier and gets us into now the Adelson. YouTube is a really interesting place about their algorithms, and we need you to do that. And you've all been doing that, because we went from May 6th, 10,000 subscribers, to July 28th, 25,000 subscribers, a pretty big jump. We want to keep jumping, because we hope we're bringing you some content that you don't have on other streaming shows, although we have now become this week, congratulations, Michael Bryant, Justice Serve TV, a Bryant and Bodden Media Company.
Yes. So all that being said, have a great weekend. And of course, try to do the right thing. We'll see you next time.